Oh boy, we're killing War Thunder Sim with this one, ladies and gentlemen. The Rafale is insane. It's ridiculous. There's no question about it. This plane is like goggly goop. It doesn't belong right now. This plane is essentially it's power creep incarnate at top tier. I did a video about a month ago about the Kafir C10, and it was titled Power Creep Incarnate. And for the 13.0 bracket, I think that's a fair title, honestly. Now, for the Rafale, on the other hand, this is a plane that is literally the definition of power creep. It keeps creeping. So, when the Rafale was released, right, it had 6 missiles, it had very few countermeasures, it had a pretty competitive but not insanely broken flight model. It was good, but not to the point of where it's at right now. Now, fast forward to today. It has 8 missiles. It has more countermeasures. Its engines got a super cruise buff, and it has a turn rate buff as well. Now, remember, we're months past the release of this vehicle, and I've always been under the impression that the Rafale on release was fine. It was absolutely fine. It was very usable. It was very competitive. Yeah, sure, it didn't have a lot of countermeasures. Sure, it only had 6 missiles, but it was fine. Like, it really wasn't lacking in any area. One buff that, I can kind of agree with, and I understand, I don't think is that defining to the power creep meta of this plane, was the countermeasures, right? A few extra countermeasures, I think, makes sense. You add a little bit of survivability to the plane, but you're not making it this insane dogfighter, right? Now, then we get the 8 missiles. My complaint with the F-16C is its lack of combat endurance. Same thing with the Gripen, right? They both have 6 missiles. The Gripen C can only take 4 ARH, and the F-16 can take up to 6. Now, with the Rafale, that when it only had 6, it still felt kind of usable. It felt fine because you have 6 of the best dogfight missiles in the game. It's not like you have 6 AMRAAMs that if you launch on somebody from long range, that they can very easily defeat them, and by the time you get to the merge, you've used 1, 2, maybe 3 missiles to get there, and then you have to fight it out if you didn't kill them by that point. With the Micas, all you have to do is just close the distance. That's it. You don't have to continuously return fire. All you have to do is just lure them into your area in which you operate, and 1 Mica is usually enough. So while, yeah, 6 missiles on paper doesn't sound great, and I personally have complaints with planes that have just 6 missiles, you gotta remember, it's 6 Micas. So at this point in the Rafale's life cycle, it's gotten its countermeasure buffs, it's gotten its missile count buffs. Essentially, we've gotten to the point in War Thunder Sim at this point, the team in which France is on is already defining who wins. Win rates are starting to essentially move towards France, right? And that was really like the tipping point for the Rafale. Now we get the AOA button, we get the engine super cruise buff, and then we get the turn rate buff. And this plane is just unstoppable in almost every single instance. The Rafale has essentially morphed itself into the F-16C at when Fox 3s were released, right? It's a plane that is so easy to use and so easy to fly and just so meta-defining that it's hated by so many players, and it's loved by, I would say, probably fewer. It's just so broken. And don't get me wrong, when I was getting footage for this plane, man, I was having the time of my life. I was dropping regularly 40 kill games, KD of around like 8 to 10, and like when I was playing it on stream, kind of like warming up for this, I would consistently, like, I'd win a 3v1 or I'd win a 2v1 or whatever, and if I was in any other plane, I would be on top of the moon. I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I did this, I did that, whatever, I did this perfectly, that was great. You know, kind of like dissecting my fights, like what did I do right, what did I do wrong, how did I capitalize on stuff? Nope. When I want to fight like that right there, that 2v1, that 3v1 on the footage, it was just basically, okay, cool, all right, well, yeah, I'm in a Rafale, like what do you expect? And I don't know, I mean, it's just, that's kind of not really enjoyable for me anymore, you know? Like, you're flying the best plane in the game, of course you're going to be winning fights where you would be probably losing in other planes. Like, I don't know, it's just, the plane is so meta-defining, almost to the point of it's no longer fun. Like, this plane is literally the definition of suffering from success. It's too good. It's just too good. Now, after you witness me here fail to notch a missile, I want to crack into some footage here, right? I want to go over kind of how good this plane is, specifically in the vertical notch, okay? I kind of want to piggyback off my most recent video on how the vertical notch, okay? So this plane, right, let's go over a couple things. It's incredibly fast. It has incredibly good instantaneous turn, and it has the best high off-bore missiles in the game. Pair it with an ASA radar that has incredibly good scan rates and the HMD that allows you to see targets that are enemies or friendlies. They're marked, right? So here I have an F-15 and an F-16. The F-16 is below contrail height and the F-15 is above contrail height. What I'm doing here is I'm kind of baiting them in, right? I'm allowing them to launch on me. Maybe I can drain some of their missiles, whatever. But what I'm doing here specifically is just draining their missiles of energy and then chaffing them when they get close. So I can still see, obviously, which one this is, right? Because of the HMD, and obviously he's conning. I can't see the 16, but I know he's coming in pretty close. They keep launching on me. They're not quite close enough for the HMS PD lock that needs at least 19 kilometers. And so again, I'm just baiting them in. I'm biding my time, allowing them to get close, waiting until I can get that mark. And now here, I got eyes on the 16. So I'm going to lock him up, return fire, immediately go back into the notch, and I'm going to leave the 15. My hope here is he thinks I have target fixation on the 16 and that I don't see him. So I lock a missile, and immediately I don't want to waste the missile. So I go into the notch again, and I continue to just bait him in close where I am going to be the better of the planes, right? So I get another lock on him, and now I finally return fire. Again, dump immediately back into the notch, and then I wait. And splash, I got him. I hit the 16 earlier, and a successful 2v1, which little did I know was actually a 3v1 the whole time. So this 16 pops out of nowhere, and again, Micah off the rails, I couldn't get it, so I go right into the notch, and again, just bait him in, launch very close range, go into the notch, and that's a third kill within about 60 seconds. And that's kind of what I mean about with the vertical notch, how it's kind of a dance, right? You're going from offense to defense to offense to defense. It's like you're having a dancing partner, right? You're switching from lead, and you're going back and forth, and you're kind of dancing. Now, if we look at this plane purely from the perspective of sim, you would think a lot more players would be happy that we have an incredibly strong, broken plane that can at least play both sides, which kind of was the case after release. But now that this plane has just kind of reached the point of obscenity, it's really starting just to get annoying. It's getting frustrating, right? It's what I would call a gross overcorrection on the topic of balance. Sure, now we have a plane that can effectively fight against the US power creep and hand-holding of Blue 4 that we've been dealing with for years, but again, it's kind of the point of where it's too good, it's not even really fun to use anymore. And yeah, sure, there's the Eurofighter. The Eurofighter is an okay counter to the Rafale in a dogfight, but you've got to get to that merge first. And even if you can, again, the Micah is just the best dogfight missile in the game, and it can be somewhat of a trump card. So, in theory, there's a lot of things that could balance this plane out, but on paper, in reality, it really doesn't turn out that way. And of course, we have the typical, oh, French players are just the better players, which, yeah, sure, maybe they have the highest win rates. I think in ground RB, that is like kind of the consensus. Like, the French players are usually just better. But this is like, it's just hand-holdy to the point of where it doesn't matter who's using it. They're probably going to do pretty good, whether they have a lot of experience in sim or very little experience in sim. This does not come down to just French player equals better. I think the Rafale is a plane that we're going to have for a long time in the state in which it sits now. And I honestly really don't think we're going to have a adequate counter to this plane for quite a while. I really do think that this plane is going to be sitting on the throne of meta probably for the next couple updates to come. I really don't see it being dethroned anytime soon. It's that effective. And let's even look farther into the future, right? With the HIAF 4 IR missile update, which will eventually come, the Mica IR, I mean, this plane will still be able to contest even into the future. It's kind of future-proof for now. Now, I'm not saying, oh, F-22 when and Su-35 now. Trust me, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want us to continuously go down this fast-paced road of power creep after power creep after power creep. I think the proper thing to do is take what we have now and find ways to balance it. Either if that's through nerfs or buffs on other planes or whatever. I don't think adding new things to counter this currently is really a adequate fix. So I don't really have any specific answers on what I would do to balance this thing right now. I'm just kind of saying the obvious. This plane is insanely stupidly broken, and it's really just the definition of the meta right now at top tier. But yeah, that's kind of really all I got to say about this jet. I look forward to jumping back into the J11B, I gotta be honest. I've had my time with this plane. For those that don't know what I was talking about with the vertical notch, that footage earlier, I recently released a video on how to conduct that maneuver, and it kind of goes in a deep dive on the principles and theories and how to do it. So I'll link that video in the description, and right here on the page on the top left is where that video is at. Also, I got a cool Discord if you guys are interested in joining. A lot of people there specifically oriented towards mouse and keyboard sim players, but it's also just a cool community to hang out in. But that's all I got for now. If you guys liked it, obviously please drop a like. If you didn't, dislike it, I don't give a shit. But subscribe, it helps a lot, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.